castle. You're faithful or you're a traitor. There comes Alan coming. One of you must go and we'll see you later. You're a traitor.
Good evening to faithfuls and traitors alike, and welcome to Tally the Votes, Traitors Edition. Now, normally, I'm joined here in the Traitors turret with the Lady of the Loch and a real Queen of the Damned. And in a Traitors Alliance, Christy would be my right hand, but she couldn't make it tonight. She is not feeling well, so she's in our thoughts, and hopefully we'll see her back in the turret next week. But on the grounds, we find a faithful, a gentleman through and through, a man who might steal his shield, but he'd use it to protect you. Hey, Brian.
Hey, I barely made it back to the podcast because I flew back from the castle. You may have seen me by the wheelbarrow in this week's episode. I
did out in the pile of wheelbarrows.
Yes, I am alive. I was on the show this week, so I'm back.
Well, we're glad that you made it from the grounds back to the castle. It's getting a little bit cold out there. Come inside, warm yourself. And now, finally, we sit at the table of Alan's cabin, a Ouija board in queue. And what's that? A message from beyond that reads GOTTSTFU. Dear David, I believe that one was for you.
You know, Christy, did Christy miss tonight, or has she been murdered?
Well, I don't know. Maybe we'll find out by the end of this. By the end of this episode, we might know. All right, guys. Just one episode this week, which felt a little bit weird, but dang, it was a delicious meal. So,
oh my.
You know, it served. Pots grown by 15K. And guess what? There's still salmon at the breakfast table. Thank the heavens.
That's
nobody
funny when
had to
the
starve.
first people walk in and they're like, salmon.
It's like a thing this year.
Yeah.
I mean, are they just like serving dry biscuits and then salmon? Like nothing else is good?
Whatever's left over after Alan spends his clothing budget, that's what they get for breakfast. Because it's funny you mentioned that. I watched a couple of podcasts this week about last week's episode, and it seems to be a recurring thing from past players. I think the only thing they all agree on is the breakfasts are mid, to say the least.
Really?
Yes, and probably the worst opinion of the breakfast I've heard yet was Jeremy from Survivor said the breakfast sucks. And he said the reason they fight over the salmon is like, the toast is cold, it's not warm, and he's like the breakfasts are terrible. So
and that's coming from a guy who was like forced to eat like papaya and coconut only for weeks. So he would know. Well, that's really disappointing. I mean, they all go and sleep in a nice hotel. They probably have room service.
I would guess that's true.
Have some delicious breakfast before they ever get into the makeup chair that morning. So by the time they have breakfast, it's probably closer to lunch. And if the toast has been sitting out, it's not going to be good. So, though I don't know that I'd want smoked salmon that's been sitting out any more than the poached eggs.
You read a lot of that about sitcoms where they're like eating pizza and the pizza's been sitting there for 5 hours because they're on take 13.
Yeah, that doesn't sound fun. I'm not a picky eater necessarily, but if it's going to be like contaminated with botulism or any sort of airborne
and any sort of ism really at all.
I don't want any isms in my food, thank you.
Isms are a bad thing generally.
I guess the salmon is good stuff, so thankfully people got to eat some of that this week. So okay.
Can I ask a question before we start?
I need you to ask the question. Go for it.
Okay, I'm going to ask the question because I felt this way, Jamie felt this way, seems like David feels this way. I felt like this was the best episode of Traitors I have watched in a long time.
I agree. I think it was a really good episode. Like, just not necessarily like which person is who and what. It's there was an alliance, there was strategy, there was looking for clever loopholes. The editing came together and told a story that was enjoyable and interesting to watch.
The Brown was compelling as all get out. I mean, it just, it's like 2/3 of the table said, all right, Ron, the guy we've been targeting for 4 weeks, really has convinced us he's not a traitor. Now what do we do?
Yeah. Now what? Now what?
This was to me like the best version of like a live tribal council on Survivor, where you really don't know who's going to get voted out. Like there's this plan. And I think had you told any of us like, hey, this week Ron gets voted out, we'd have been like, no shit.
Yeah.
What's the drama in watching it?
Yeah. Where's the
but
fun?
Still, the drama in it and the way it went down. I mean, we're going to get there eventually, but come on, we were one vote shy of a historic 3-way tie.
It's funny you say that, Brian, because I didn't watch the episode till today. And this afternoon, I jumped on the Tally the Votes Facebook page and was promptly spoiled with who went home by Jamie's post.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, great. Well, I kind of knew it was going to happen. This is going to suck now to watch. And I couldn't believe it was like the best episode in a long time.
It was this episode. I felt like they tweaked the challenge, and the challenge was more entertaining because it had a puzzle element and not just like the gross out element the cabin has had, but it had some of that. It was
let's talk about that challenge. That was really good.
The screaming was a lot though.
But I loved this. I loved it because I mean, like some people are going to scream, whatever, but I love that it actually became sort of like a plot point in our storytelling, where we've got like Eric being like, oh my God, please don't scream though. Like it was the thing, it was bothering them at the table too. And then it like made people push harder to be able to run out of that cabin because they just don't like getting jump scared. But
that's what I liked about all the stuff they're doing this season. We talked about it last week, is that the two people that run out then can make a choice. They can go for a shield and screw everybody inside, and the people inside don't know what choice they're making.
So I had a question, and logically, you're Ron. You're going home. Why aren't you sitting close to the door and just get up and run out, regardless of what the group says? Who cares? At that point, you get a shield and you're safe.
No, I am interested to know. I'm guessing, Brian, did you get to watch his exit interview? I did not get to catch it this week.
I did not, but I read an exit interview he gave, and we'll get there when we get to the vote out, and I'll talk a little bit more. I think it'd be premature to talk about it now, but I thought like after the last, if we go back to the beginning, at the end of the last episode, we're like, did everybody not take a shield, or did someone take a shield? And we quickly find out no one did take a shield. Right. So we answered that. So there's no murder. Then we go to this challenge, and my thought was,
were you surprised with that? I was shocked that nobody took a shield.
I wasn't, for the simple reason there were enough. The Traitors have played well enough that I don't think they felt like taking a chance on exposing themselves. The only thing that surprised me is I was looking, I thought if the dam would break, it would be Jam Jam or Colton, based on how they're playing. And I thought Colton might have taken a shield.
Yeah, I think of the Faithfuls, I would have suspected he'd be the most likely, though I do say out of the Traitors, I mean, I said so in my prophecy, that I kind of feel like Rob might take it, because I had the sense that Rob was going to be the first one to break away from the Traitors, but I was half right, I guess, but definitely not in the way that I thought it might go. So I was a little surprised that Rob, I don't know, I just had it in my head that maybe one of the Traitors would take it. So slightly surprised, not shocked though.
I think maybe the reason they didn't is because they couldn't take it without the other people in their group seeing them take it.
Mhm.
If they had an opportunity individually to take it, it might have played out differently.
Yeah. But as they're going through the challenge, I mean, you're getting these separate pairs, and these pairs weren't made because that's their bestie. So again, they're put in a position where they've got to be paired with another person that's willing to do it.
Oh, did they both have to agree? I didn't catch that.
Yeah, they both had to agree in
Okay,
order for
so
them
Ron
to take
could
one.
not have just gone out and run out and grabbed a shield. He would have had to get the person.
He would have
So
had
they
to have
both
them
would have been
agree.
safe then. Yes.
Yep, they both would have been safe. And you see Jam try, right away he tries to do it. And I get in a game like Traitors, it doesn't look great for Jam while he's doing this. It is getting maybe some negative attention, but to be fair to Jam, like he's played Survivor and he knows like your only true source of power is safety.
Right.
That's
If
it.
you're
It's the only
safe,
power
you're
you have.
safe, and you're on to the next round, and things
Yep.
can change, right?
Exactly. If you can just get up to the end game, you might stand a chance. So I don't think he cares about an alliance.
He doesn't, but I think that's the weakness in his game is he's playing
Mhm.
Traitors like Survivor.
Yes.
And he's not playing
great for this game.
Traitors the according to house rules. And I think we're going to see in the coming weeks, maybe even next week, I think we're going to see his insistence on selfishness be portrayed as traitorous behavior.
Yep. I agree. I think they're gonna. It's turning too many heads at this point. Too many people have said something about it. Like I said, I get where he just wants that safety, but in a game like Traitors, like taking the last cold piece of toast in the morning could be enough reason for them to think you're a traitor.
Right.
So
right.
This seems like such an obvious thing that like if you do this, they're coming after you. You're going to get banished. But
right.
It is also Jam, and I don't think he gives a rat's ass what other people think. I just think that's in his nature. He's just going to jam his way right to the end.
I couldn't agree more. And I think if people will look up on him as the bumbling guy and not the super dark genius, he may survive. But he's coming across pretty inept thus far, at least not at the game. He's still there, but I mean at the strategy of the game. Like he's not playing a very strategic game. And maybe with this group who hates gamers, apparently, maybe that's a good thing.
It could be part of the reason why he is that way. Like he might have lost his footing immediately seeing the people that he would have probably naturally aligned with get booted one after another.
Does the group hate gamers, or is the fact that there are two housewives as traitors kind of driving that? Because they're natural rivalries, aren't they?
I think the group as a whole is very wary of the gamers because a lot of them feel at a disadvantage because a lot of their background isn't in a per se game. It's just a reality show. So they feel a little on the back foot, I think, with the gamers. Now,
but it seems like the Bachelor people aren't regarded as gamers.
No.
In a weird way, they're not.
Yeah.
It's the Big Brother challenge, Survivor people. But, we do have one gamer that I think is doing well and may have started playing a little hard this week, but we know she always plays hard. That's what she said. And,
be cool. Be cool.
And let's be honest, like Natalie is in a really good position if her mouth doesn't get her out of it. And I thought the first crack, when she said anybody takes a shield, they're banished.
Yes.
In the cabin, I thought maybe that was a bit much, Natalie.
Yeah, it was a big push.
Lisa called her on it, right?
Yeah. But that's the thing. It was a really big push. I don't know. I think it's a little bit funny that Lisa's going to call her on that because that is a true form of strategy for the Traitors to take. It's an alliance. If we all agree on this thing, then we're in an alliance, even if it's just for the next 40 minutes.
Right.
Which is going to be intimidating to the Traitors. However, I am surprised that a few other Traitors weren't like, what is this? you know what, well, you're certainly trying to take charge and tell everybody what to do, because I mean, traditionally that has sent a lot of people home. A lot of faithfuls have gone home because they're just a little bit bossy, you know, and not bossy, just like, you know, said, hey, I have an idea, and everyone's like, get out. Get out of here. You can't have ideas at a round table.
Right. Well, you know, I think about my good friend who Jamie introduced me to this year, Taryn Armstrong, who, you know, he doesn't know that we're best friends, but we are. But he said something that's always stuck with me about all these games when I was in the early days of watching his videos. And that is that the people that try to push an action usually end up in a better spot if you're trying to do something than if you're reacting to what's going on around you. And the thing about Traitors, unlike the other games, sometimes if you're the person pushing action, it's almost counterintuitive that sort of hurts you, unless you know, you start nailing Traitors and looking like an ultimate faithful. I mean, you get a couple wrong, you see what the consequences of that are. And, you know, it's interesting to think, like, this is a game where you want to do something, but not do too much ever.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's so hard to have a solid strategy going in, because it is, I mean, and any of these games, of course, a large part of it is luck and who you're playing with. What are the personality types you're playing with? Who can you connect with based on their personality type?
That's all these games, though, isn't it?
That's what I mean. They all have a bit of that. Yeah. But with Traitors, that is, I feel like with Traitors, that's far more important than maybe some of these other games, based off of you can have an alliance. You kind of already have an alliance. You have a Traitors alliance and you have a Faithfuls alliance. There's this natural alliance already in the game, because you're already pitted against each other in this way.
And Johnny really pushed an interesting alliance.
Yeah, and them trying to form an alliance together, that's great, except for really the only thing you can really have in this is just the numbers. Can you agree on the numbers? But
right, but if he formed an 8-person alliance, he could throw out the other 5 people, and yes, regardless of whether they're Traitors or not. And
you could have the numbers, and you could technically join forces with the numbers to put all the, you know, one person's name down. But the difference is in Traitors is, I mean, other than maybe something we don't get to see in Big Brother voting blocks or Survivor, like we're just not seeing it as they air, is that in Traitors, they will all have a name. It happens every single week in every single season. The majority of people will have a name at the tip of, they all say, it's Ron, it's Ron, it's Ron, it's Ron. And then they sit down and they pick somebody else. Because I don't, when you have a game like Big Brother, more so Survivor, because sometimes it leaks in Big Brother who's going to be going home. But in Survivor, you have people suspect they might be the one going home, but you don't really know until the votes are read and the person isn't holding it. You might have an idea of who did it, but it's all done in this like secret fashion. Unlike Traitors, you have to own your vote right there at the table.
Right.
And so everyone wants to vote with the numbers, but then they just keep changing who it is. As soon as someone starts going, well, this other person didn't flush the toilet yesterday, so I think they might be a traitor.
It is an interesting wrinkle on the whole dynamic that your vote in this is public and you're saying it to the face of the person you're voting out. That you know, unlike Survivor, you're not going to an urn, or you're not walking in the video room like Big Brother. Like, you're saying it to their face in a room full of people.
And the people who, as they reveal their votes locked when the first vote is read, right? You can't change based on how it's going.
Yeah.
Right. You can't change. You're locked.
Look at for instance.
So nobody's ever tried to like take their finger and rub off the name.
You see people like have erase marks behind it, and I think sometimes people do erase oh, I've changed my mind, but mostly I think that erase is for show. Like, oh, I'm so sorry. I wasn't going to, but then like I had to.
That's
that
so
kind of crap.
devious, and I've never even thought about that. Making a face at race
yeah.
mark to be like you were really my second choice because I love you so much.
Yes, I think that those erase marks are usually intentional. But in the case like Ron's, for instance, Ron says, well, I think it might be this person because of A, B, C, D. And some of people go, oh, I think you might be right on that. Well, now Ron puts his vote down. Everyone sees who it is. He's wrong. Well, then you must be a traitor.
Well, that was the point he made tonight, and then when Colton was wrong, nobody because
it wasn't
Michael because everyone didn't like Michael
because nobody because nobody liked Michael. We were okay with it, but because everybody liked Portia, I must be a traitor, and that's the thing about having your vote out there public. He could have just said his idea, quietly gone and done a secret vote, and then when she gets voted out, he can be like, that's not who I voted for. Like, I just said she might be. Like, you're the bad guy here. Like, you could gaslight the hell out of people with a secret vote. You can't do that so much when you're holding the chalkboard. So
right. I think it's a really, really interesting dynamic that you have to make your words match your action literally on the chalkboard.
Especially like we're going to see this is a perfect conversation for us to be having, because in the next episode, the following episodes, we're going to see exactly what happens because of that, because we watched it happen with Rob. Rob had to make a decision and he wrote down a traitor's name. And now Rob's going to spend the rest of his game trying to maneuver around that choice. It could work in his favor. Cutting the traitors early could be a good move for him. It could be the end of his game. But he's going to have to own the consequence to what he's done, because he can't hide from his choice. And that, I think, is what probably sets traitors alone in this gaming field, where it's like you cannot hide from your choice. You can make excuses for it, but you can't hide from it. So
there was another interview that I watched, and the interesting thing that the player said, and I'd never thought about this, but they were talking about the difference. Like they were saying Traitors is harder than Survivor, and I know we've had this discussion before.
Yeah.
And I think this might have been Jeremy too that said this, that he said, on Survivor, you go have a challenge and then you go back to camp and then you like talk about the vote and you lay around and then you go back to vote like either that night or the next day. He's like, this is like you get up in the morning, you find out who's dead, you go do a challenge, you come back, you talk, and then you go vote. He's like, it's like a 2 or 3 day period of Survivor compressed to like one day, and as soon as that's over, it's the same thing next day. It like that. He talked about how fast it is, like to
what are they there for?
Well,
12,
and of course when they go back, you think they're sequestered at the hotel? They can't interact with each other, I wouldn't imagine.
They can't. Yeah, they're totally sequestered at the hotel. So I mean, like it's like from morning to night, you're doing what you would do on some of these other shows over a 2 or 3 day period. And he talked about that being so fast. And in that time, you have to manage all this information that's always changing, like over one day, and which is why I think when you get to the round table, it's why you remember in the episode when Rob said to Ron, which, by the way, what a great little bromance we got there between Rob and Ron.
Guys, I have to tell you that this is where I'm a little bit bummed out that we don't have Christy here, because I need my girl here to help leverage me. But I think that I'm kind of starting to think that Rob might be a cutie patootie. He's being like kind to other people. I mean, yeah, he's got the good looks, but
she's not still here. But we hit the Christy Sparkle corner portion of the.
He's still bad Rob, because he helped get good Rob out, but bad Rob might be growing on me a little bit after this week.
Rob is kind of like the '80s dude in in like the comedy, the romantic comedy, who's ignoring the girl with glasses, and then one day she takes her glasses off, and he's all of a sudden a nice guy, and he's not picking on the nerds anymore. And
she got rid of her glasses and her ponytail.
But I thought like that was a really nice human moment in a season that Ron hasn't gotten many good moments like that.
I thought he could kind of walk away though after the way the vote went down. I think he could walk away with his head held high. He convinced a lot of people.
Oh, I agree.
I don't think he quote unquote quit. I don't think this was the vote for me at tribal council, but I think he knew he was on the gallows, and he's like, I'm just going to say my piece and you're going to do what you're going to do. Like, I don't think he was quitting, but I think he felt like he was a dead man walking.
Right. And I think that came off as authentic. And that's when the people started going, okay, he's not a traitor. He wouldn't do this.
Yeah.
But you remember, this is where I think Rob, we've all underestimated Rob, and they found this wonderful
Robbie Bobby.
Yes, they found this wonderful story in him that like he's the meathead hunk who suddenly he's like emotional, he's strategic, and when he said to Ron, when Ron said, I guess I'm going home tonight, it's been nice to know you, and he goes, I wouldn't be so sure. This game moves quick, like. And there is something too. I think the way the structure of this game is that when it's only one day, you can undo what happened that day, that night at Round Table. You can't undo like 2 or 3 days of people hating you, somewhere else. But like in a day, and kudos to the editing of this Round Table. This Round Table was electric. I mean, it was electric.
It was so great. Like we had real like conversation and real strategy to why they were going to vote, which way they were going to vote. I mean, there's some negatives to it, but it was very interesting to hear that. Well, we need to just know. We're not necessarily thinking that you are totally for sure a traitor, but the question has been lingering so much that at this point we're willing to sacrifice one of us just to have a tiny bit more leverage in knowledge. And I don't remember ever seeing that being like a legitimate source of gameplay. Like,
wasn't it Mara that said that?
Yeah, we got to let you go just so we know. Yeah. Like we just have to know.
Just you going one way or the other gives us a ton of information.
Mm-hmm.
Which is kind of gross. That's kind of gross, if I'm honest.
It is. It's brutal. It's really brutal. But at least there's some, I don't know, at least there's some process to it. It was no longer just well, you did this and you were wrong. It's no longer that. It's like this conversation, we've lost track of why we even think you are a traitor. And the only way that we can undo the track we've made is to have you go so we aren't sidetracked by this anymore. It's sort of weird. It's kind of like the same thing with Rappaport, where it's like, you're such a distraction that we have to cut you. This is the other side of that distraction.
But it's like if you're a distraction because you're loud and you're always blowing up the conversation, but you're also a distraction if you're quiet and don't interact with people.
You better be right in the middle, buddy, or you're out of here.
Well, I mean, it's like what I said earlier. This is a game where you sort of want to ride the middle because any extreme marks you,
And that's what I think Natalie is doing well. I mean, absent the one comment she made in the cabin, she's been present but hasn't been super vocal.
Yes,
and it's killing her.
Oh, it is, because we know how competitive she is, right?
Yes,
but she's made a decision to dial that back. Obviously, so did Lisa, and it's getting her in trouble now because people are realizing that it's not her.
Oh my God. Can we please talk about the Colton and Lisa of this
Oh,
episode?
that's great.
Because I'm sorry, but it just was so good.
That was reality TV gold right there.
Let me tell you, Rizzo, this, my friend, was cinema, not the crap you did.
Yeah.
Okay? This was cinema. But
I mean, like, Colton's had what, 2-3 hours of TV time on this game, and he's already ate more than poor Rizzo did, and he fought like hell to get that time for a whole season. Sorry, buddy.
Colton and Johnny, and in some regards, what you were just talking about Mara, like there were 3 times this episode I was like, you know what? This group is trying strategy. And they're trying things that I haven't seen before. Like, there's never been a, hey, like, who cares who the other 5 are? If we're 8, we'll just vote them all out. Like, an attempted alliance by Johnny, which if the people would have listened to him, Ron wouldn't have
had it. He would have had it.
He had it, but they didn't listen. But there's him. Then there's Colton's very unorthodox. I know the rules are you can't say you're a traitor. But if you I want to play with you.
That was okay. Not only was that, good. If you really think somebody is your enemy, get close to them, especially if your enemy has power. Right. That totally makes sense. Where the brilliance came in for this specific television show is that he used it like, I know that she thinks that she's got me, but I'm going to hold her hostage. Like, just the idea of like, if I can convince her that I know, like, that's going to give me power, like blackmail power. It was an interesting
take. And he didn't really pull that off, but what he did pull off was he got her revved up. So she was all amped up going into the thing, and she overacted. It was like, I am a faithful. Gosh darn it, I think you're a traitor.
What was so good is like, what he did, the way he presented it, I thought it was sly. I think it was a little bit devious, but it was powerful. I think that a lot of people would have gone, I think a lot of people would have fallen for it. I think there are a lot of people that would have taken the bait, but not Lisa. Lisa was like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about?
She was in that moment, but she took the bait at Tribal.
She did. But I love the way that she handled it with Colton in that moment. It was just like, she shut it down. There's not even a chance. Like, you're crazy. Like, and it was very convincing. I think Colton still believes he sniffed out the rat, but I think she made him second guess it.
Well, I don't think he's second guessing it, but I think he's wondering if he's kicked the hornet's nest a little too hard because she can marshal people to her cause.
Yeah, she's got a way about her, right? Like, she drives me crazy, but then I could also say, you know what, like, maybe when things are like really tense and stressful and you've got somebody like that, they're either going to irritate the living hell out of you forever, or you're going to like succumb to their charming ways because you need somebody to bounce shit off of where you're not so stressed out.
But by the end of the episode, I had a nickname for her in my head. She was New Michael.
Yeah, that's fair.
She was now the annoying person in the castle.
It was funny that you were talking about that hostage comment, because I was reminded of the season of Survivor where the one tribe was like, hey, like, we're going to lose this challenge. And if you don't let us win this challenge and give us this one, we're going to vote out one of your people tonight. Like, I mean, it was bringing element, and I think all of us, that's the background we like. That's the stuff we like. But I mean,
especially when production couldn't have anticipated it, and their production's going, crap, what do we do now?
But I mean, if I was given notes, the tweaks to the challenges have been amazing. Yep. Like, where it's added more strategy. I mean, like, this was an episode, man. If you're here for the messiness, you got that. If you're here for, like, interesting challenges with strategy, you got that. If you're here for Alan Cumming, you get that. Like, it was The only thing that sucked was by only having one episode, we don't have enough outfits to consider and discuss tonight.
Yeah,
it's better when we have multiple outfits to rank.
Well, I do have a series of evolution to that outfit, so we
Yes.
can still play a much shorter game of Murder, Banish, Shield. And you know what? I think that we should do that. But before we do that, I do believe we need to pause for a 5-second break for commercials. So we'll catch you on the flip side. All right, we are back. And are you guys prepared to play the abridged version of Murder, Banish, Shields? Because we just have one outfit tonight. However, this wardrobe department still found a way to take this one outfit. I don't know. Again, Christy, where are you? But back in the 80s, 90s, it was like a big thing, like in all of the magazines, the fashion magazines was like, here's how you take your look from day to night.
Yeah.
You're at the office, but here's some little flips you can do, little changes you can do as you walk out the office before you go to the dinner meeting, to switch into your appropriate wardrobe. I feel like that's kind of what we got today. A little bit of, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, as it were. So let's play Murder, Banish, Shield. For those of you who don't know the game, everybody has to pick one for each version of this outfit. In this case, to murder it, meaning Ellen killed it. It's a good thing. Banish it. We don't ever want to see it again. Putting it in the back of the closet's not good enough. It needs to completely be thrown out into the grounds. Fergus needs to haul it away and mulch it. Or Shield. It's not great, but we can hang it. We can hang it up.
Boy, isn't that true?
We've got Roddick 99, and if you're into mealworms, you've got that. Yes, there were those. Okay, so we have got the first version of this outfit that came to breakfast. We did have a matching Harrington jacket, with the gilded kilt. So it is the Harrington gilded kilt version. What do you think? Murder, Banish, Shields.
This is the one with just the sash, right?
Yeah. You got the little the kilt and the little jackety thing. Yep. Everything else is there that we see the rest of the day, but the breakfast version. What do you think?
Incomplete. It felt incomplete to me. I banish it.
Okay. Ooh, all right. What say you, Brian?
I agree with that. I'd banish it.
Okay. All right. I'm all right with banishing it as well. All right, here. We've got that. Now we've got the second evolution, and we've gone from the Harrington gilded kilt to the Turn gilded quilt. And we have a quilted jacket with, again, whoever's doing fashion for us this year has a major thing for textiles. But we've got texture, we've got different polka dots, we've got plaid, we've got the whole thing. So what do you think about this little dressy number?
This was my favorite of the three, so I'm going to murder this one.
All right, David.
I'm going to say this is Alan Fabulous. Alan Fabulous at his best, and I'm murdering it too.
All right. Okay. Well, it looks like we have a hat trick of murder because that's my choice as well. And the final evolution would be the Edwardian blouse house kilt, which I thought was fabulous on its own, but good enough to keep around. But I wouldn't say murder. So we'll shield that one. And
we have no choice.
It looks like the both of you have picked that by default. Okay. I wonder why we only got one outfit with different evolutions.
Well, we actually got two outfits. He did make an appearance in the turret in his all black.
Yeah, that's just his cloak though. I mean,
well, no, he had the hat too.
I have this idea that anytime Alan leaves the castle, he puts that on.
It could be.
It's cold out there. But yeah, I'm wondering if it doesn't have to do with the fact that our following episode next week is going to be so much wardrobe.
Yep.
They're like, hey, in order to be able to get this done, we've got to You can only have one outfit, Alan. Okay, there's only one allowed.
I also wonder if that challenge took like a really long time, and that maybe like they just wanted to make minor changes on the fly to get everything in the day.
If you look at all of the different things that was included in that, like I'm sorry, I want to go to an escape room that is set up as well as that.
Yeah.
Where like the typewriters like type in a message for you. You got the blood on the walls, like so cool. Yeah, I think
we praise this cast, that of all the casts, like these people are into these challenges and they're pretty much killing it compared to past casts.
They are.
Oh, go ahead, Jamie.
No, I'm just saying, like you, there was with every single clue. I mean, like the thing with like, oh, some of the letters are underlined. I mean, it was just like they're using their brain. They know how to play the games. It's good.
I thought there was a great talking head, and I don't remember if it was Ron. I think maybe it was Ron or somebody who said, like, for the first time in this game in the cabin, like we were a team, like we were killing it. We were solving everything. And you see Natalie over there. What's the first number? Like that they pooled their mental resources and knocked this out of the park, and would have gotten the other ones too. But there was the one where Candace and Tara didn't hear him.
It was Clark and Black, and they have the same letters, right?
Yep.
Almost.
And I mean, also kudos to the game makers who have both of those options available on the tombstones. They didn't have to. They didn't have to make. I mean, I'm just saying. I feels like in the past they wouldn't have. Like they upped their games.
That's why breakfast sucks, kids. The games are awesome.
We spent a little more money on the games.
You have to have your generic Jell-O.
I do have to say, I'm kudos to production, because it feels like they've marginalized the shields a little bit this season, and I'm kind of here for it. I feel like it's making the game a little better. Like, you could take a shield, but in almost every case there was a social price to pay to
I like
so.
that.
Whereas in the past you could take a shield but nobody's seeing it. And so I'm kind of liking this. So taking a shield is almost like using a shot in the dark on Survivor. It's a desperation move. It's not something you're just going to do.
You always have to make the risk reward calculus on it this season.
That's why I think it's better the way they're doing it.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I am curious to, I mean, maybe we go a whole season and Faithful never screws over the other Faithfuls. Maybe it never happens. I'm curious to see what happens when somebody does. I feel like if somebody does, it's most likely going to be Jam or Colton. But
I think it could very easily be a housewife.
I was gonna say maybe it ends up being Dorinda. I don't know. I don't know where we're going from here. I feel like there is a good chance that if Lisa does get called out as a traitor, if it does happen sooner than later, we are going to watch housewives eat each other. Like, they're going to go after each other, because that kind of act from Lisa, who's like kind of unofficially the leader of the housewives. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, it's going to be a lot of work for the other two traitors to get to get any housewife to simmer down at that point. Like, it's going to have to happen. But I mean, like, that's going to be the biggest betrayal in the house. Like, if people might end up being shocked to find out that Rob is a traitor for whatever reason. I don't know why they would be shocked, because I would have absolutely thought he was a top runner for one. But
he's Robbie Bobby to me.
But Robbie Bobby, I think they'll be surprised. I don't think they'd be upset about it. I don't think they'd be hurt by that.
I see what you're saying, but I disagree on this point. Like, I think anybody watching him cast that vote at that round table, if you were up in the air, I think when you see somebody like that trying to decide between all those people and talking about how, like, he feels like you're just wrong about Ron, like, and standing up for somebody, I think that might even, here's the thing. Now Lisa and Candace have to decide what to do with him, right? And which is the strategic misstep in my mind is there was already a block of 2 against 1 against you in the turret, and boy, did you ever solidify.
You did.
That.
You made an alliance of the 2 of them.
He absolutely did that. But the other thing he did is they're both under scrutiny now. I mean, Candace, I think, was the most guilty-looking person at the table. Her body language.
See, Candace, she's kind of like flipped for me, because I thought doing the whole like dance thing like that, that whole stupid thing to do the first murder in plain sight. I thought, oh, she does not have long for this game. She's so over the top obvious about it. But then she kind of disappeared. You know,
no, but this, I'm only talking in this episode at this round table. I felt
at the round table,
she was very sus.
I wonder if it's noticed. I mean, I really I wonder how much it's noticed. Whereas like the gamers have the upper hand in.
She might get away with it.
Yeah,
well,
that's
we're
what I mean.
seeing the edit too, so we're seeing.
Yeah.
You know, it could be hours of film, and they're catching this one time she smirked, or you know.
Well, and I think that the other players kind of think that the gamers have an upper hand as gamers because they have a history and knowledge of how to game.
Sure.
If you look at it, gamers really don't do any better necessarily. Like they just don't, especially not Big Brother gamers. They don't actually do that impressive of a job versus the Bravo team, you know?
Right.
But then the upper hand that the Bravo team, especially the housewives, have a dramatic reaction. A dramatic reaction is always allowed. It doesn't matter if it's a little over the top or a little too much. It's what we've come to expect by the housewives. And it's a bit like the Celebrities UK this year, the winner, it was like, of course, because that's the person who's going to be most likely allowed to get away with the most different emotional, physical responses without it being a tell.
If I've learned one thing from watching this season of Traitors, it's that whatever level your energy is at when you hit the house, make a middle note and keep that energy.
Yeah.
Never change.
Like Lisa, I got her because she went down in energy.
Yes.
Ron was down in energy, you know, and now it's like, but then what tipped him off? Ron got active and did something. It's like, oh, that's not like Ron.
Not Ron. I've known Ron for 4 days. He would never be like this.
I rode in the car with him from here to the mailbox, and I know him.
But somebody like Lisa, who's been on TV for a long time, people can say, look, I've watched her show. She is not being her.
Yes. And Colton.
And then Dorinda's listening to that. You notice she's listening, and she's not saying you're wrong.
Well, I like what Colton said to her. I like when he said at breakfast. Do you remember? He said, I'm really on Lisa. Just watch her. Just watch her and see. Keep an eye on her.
And he didn't lie too. He said, "Oh, I'm totally on Ron, and I'm never going to bring her name up." And
well, I mean, Colton has 18 plans that day. So.
Yeah. There were a few. I do I do appreciate like the cattiness of it all between the two of them. I'm not one for housewives. It's not my thing, but it doesn't mean that I can't like kind of love 5 minutes of just full out catty in a show. Like, of course I can. So this whole idea of like the two of them being like, you know, Lisa being like, well, I'm going to be like full housewife now. And he's like, good, great. I love that. Thank you. Finally. I can't like unlove it. It's so great.
it was great TV. It was reality TV gold. This will be one of those episodes that we'll look back. It's like a pivotal episode.
Yes, it was so much fun. The big characters delivered on, you know, their promises. This is why we've got you cast. I don't know. I loved the episode. I'm so excited about the next episode.
I was going to say that kind of the amazing thing is the next episode looks like it could be better.
I love this idea of what they have. We'll see how it goes, but I do love this challenge for murder in plain sight.
Now, I want to ask a question because about just kind of production wise, did they get back to the castle and think, okay, we're going to be able to, before we announced the banquet, did they think, oh, we're going to be able to go back to the hotel and the day's over, and all of a sudden he lengthened their day, or was it just part of the shooting schedule and that day was no longer than any other?
About it, or it's a surprise? Is that what you're asking? Like,
no, I'm saying if they normally would be at the castle from 10 a.m. till 6 p.m. or 8 p.m., is all of a sudden now they're there till 11 because they threw this spanner at them?
No, I think the day's probably the same.
Okay, so the surprise isn't that, oh, hey, you're not getting back to the hotel till real late tonight.
I think the way it's probably framed is there's not going to be a murder tonight. We're going to have a banquet so that everybody knows, like, hey, we're not great. I'm not going to be murdered tonight. And it's like, well, yeah, but you're going to be cursed, and then you're going to probably drop dead in a few days. But which I'm interested to see how this twist works. And
I love this. I love that it's.
I don't.
You don't. This is.
But here's why.
Okay, you tell me why you don't love it, and then I'll defend. I'll defend my.
Okay, I don't think you're going to defend it. I think you understand why. The reason I don't love it is like Rob would look ridiculous wearing that, and so you're sort of having to expose one of the women. Like, I thought when I saw that, like, Rob's not going to integrate that into something, and people not go like, "What the hell?" But. Lisa properly says, well, I could get away with wearing that. Like, I think the object should have been something a little more normal, say, for, like a unisex purpose. I thought that looked like a woman's brooch.
Okay. I think that is completely fair, but I will, as evidence in my defense, show you the split seconds that we had of what wardrobe is going to look like in this banquet.
Oh, that was nuts.
Like, oh my God, so amazing. Like
they're all Alan next week.
I'm dying. I am so excited.
You know what'd be funny is if they're all wearing this fabulous wardrobe and Alan walked in just wearing like a normal business suit. Just like nothing
like some khakis,
right? Yeah, yeah, like khakis and a golf shirt. Like, hey,
it would be pretty amazing.
So, in further defense of Rob, before I forget this, I want to add this. I almost screenshotted this last night when Alan walks in the turret to tell them they're not committing a murder, that there's going to be this murder in plain sight.
Right?
Were you all watching it with subtitles on?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't catch it at first, and I saw it on the subtitle, so I rewound it and listened. Alan walks in with his flourish and goes, "Good evening, traitors." And Robbie Bobby says, "Hey, man, what's up?" like his buddy just walked in the trailer carrying a 12 pack of Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Come on, Natty Light.
Like the two women are like, "Hello, Alan," but he goes, "Hey, man, what's up?" Like, just
yeah, that's pretty great. More points, more
points for Robbie Bobby.
Robbie Bobby. Now, okay, I'm going to finish my one other defense on this brooch, this cursed brooch that we're going to be seeing. Here it is. This is why I do love this. Because when you are if you were wearing a piece of jewelry or some sort of accessory, whatever, usually jewelry, and somebody approaches you and actually touches it, that's a friend. It's either a friend or it's an enemy who's trying to keep you close. So whoever is going to be the first person that touches this brooch is either going to be the person that considers themselves that probably think they're the closest to Lisa, or the real enemy of Lisa. And you don't know it's the enemy right now. We might not know it's the enemy. But if we haven't seen this person be like, in defense of Lisa at any point, we can easily guess that this is an enemy. I think it's really, really interesting. Psychologically, that part of it, because it's not... You're not offering a drink to somebody. You are not saying a phrase. They have to come to you.
It's in a way, like you're right. I hadn't thought of it this way, but in a way, like the act of somebody touching a brooch on your cape or whatever is more intimate. And so like you're not going to do that to a stranger.
Yeah. The only slight on that is
where
Lisa
she wears it.
It looks like she's wearing it right here. It looks
Okay,
like
see,
put
that
on her
wouldn't be so
collar.
bad, but if she put it like right here, well, then no dude's getting anywhere near
Right?
that.
Yeah, it looks like she had it on her collar. Now, the other option with this, which hopefully isn't the way it goes, but she could also be like, "Oh, do you like this?" And then like shoves it at somebody, trying to be the person who picks who she's
Wouldn't she
kissing.
just hug somebody? Here,
But
give me a hug, and then touch them.
I don't know. But I know that if it's obvious that I'm showing you this thing and then you are murdered, that leaves a trail of suspicion. So I hope it plays out that she uses this a bit like an angler fish, in the deep seas.
But isn't it fascinating that we've already had one murder in plain sight? So this cast knows it can happen. And when this was announced, like when he does the twist, my first thought was, man, I wish Sesternino was here for this. Yeah. I bet he would peep that brooch and be like, okay, like what? Something's going on. Tiffany's not there. He'd grab her and pull her in a room and go, something's up with that brooch. Stay away from that brooch. Don't
touch it. It looks poison.
The rest of the cast is gonna know something weird is happening, and I would say it will be Knives Out. Everybody watching everybody.
Everyone knows, oh, we're having this banquet, right? What's up? Everyone's already mentioned, oh, I don't know if I like the idea of this banquet. So,
which just think, I mean, like, you say David's right and you can hug somebody and that counts. Like, then you could go sit between two people and the next day they know, so you're cursed and you're dead at the end of the day. And then people are like, who'd you sit next to? Did anybody give you a drink?
Mm-hmm.
Like all these other factors jump in the mind that could lead to it. And let's be honest, it could lead to this not so crackpot group of faithfuls to make a wrong decision.
It could lead to the dumbest conclusions.
I mean, when the only person you've got so far is the absolute lowest hanging piece of fruit you could get, this could really sow some seeds of confusion. Now, here's what I think's interesting. Will Lisa try to frame Rob for the murder of somebody? Do you think that's why she wants the brooch?
Oh, I think that she could possibly.
I think she wants
try
Colton
to do
more
that.
than Rob at this point.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
I think she wants Colton out, and she figures she controls the vote.
Yeah, she might say, "Well, I can't trust you," but that doesn't mean I'm going
to. My only counter to that is
Colton goes home, she's dead, right?
She did say, because he said, like, I'm telling everybody, if I die, you did it. Right. She did say, like, I'm going to have to think about this. Like, she's like, I want to get rid of him, but I need to think.
What if she uses Colton? I mean, he put the option there. Now, if she feels desperate and she feels like they're looking at me, and I'm losing a Traitors alliance here, like he's gonna write my name down too. I got to do something to get rid of him. Maybe this is the moment where she can use Colton in the way that maybe Carolyn should have used Brittany. This. We've had the difference here is that Colton has already offered his services for safety. Maybe this could be a thing and then in the future, he gets pulled in to be the next traitor, the recruit. So maybe Colton really did make some groundwork today for future game moves.
What would you do if you're Lisa?
I don't know, because
you got a lot of stink on you anyway, and I think if
having your person that you think you can trust write your name down, I think would cause you to do things you would not think you would have done normally. I think it may be the thing that would push me to have a secret alliance with somebody.
Well, I mean, again, like the way in most of these games, if somebody offers you an alliance, even if you're not going to participate in it, the answer is always yes, right? Because if you don't, then if you don't, you move on to their target list as somebody not worthy of trust. So, my thought, if I'm her and you want to show that you just blew up and that was out of character, next week we see Lisa like mend fences with him a little bit and say, look, like don't mess with me. I'm more than a housewife. I'm Lisa Rinna, and that really got under my skin.
And I'm married to Harry Hamlin.
Right. And as I was talking to Harry Hamlin in my head, he told me to show my better angels. But I think she could repair it with him enough that then if he continues being aggressive, the other people might hold that more against him than her.
Yeah.
And then if they can do that, if they can repair that, she can string this on a week or two, and then she can serve up Rob as a traitor and look like a traitor hunter.
Yeah, that's yeah. So what we're seeing here is that Colton has laid down something that could possibly be really beneficial for him going forward, but at the same note, Lisa has options. She's not in the situation where Ron was, where people's minds have already been made up and we're not changing minds at this point.
Well, but I think she's close to that point because it's going to come to a point where they're going to go, you know, she just picked up 4 or 5 votes, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
5 votes.
5.
And of the remaining 13 people. So
going forward
it's not a majority, but it's getting close.
The Colton and the Lisa drama of it all. If they were going to play against their dramatic nature, you know, they would see that they are each other's direct competition at this point. They are the true loudest corners of the house. They need to work together.
You know what?
They need to.
Did anybody else catch this when Colton says, I really want us to win this together?
Yeah.
Okay. You knew he was crap because he was saying she was a traitor and a faithful can't win it together. So it was kind of like a dumb thing to say.
Unless, you know, he goes, well, you can recruit me. You know, I suppose there's that option to continue that conversation later, maybe.
But in the
otherwise,
moment,
yes.
But
otherwise, yeah, that's a little bit. She's like,
and that's my ACH or my.
He's so ADHD.
I can't even say it. But it kicked in, and I'm like, no, that's not possible. That's a contradiction. It's like 2 AFC teams can't play each other in the Super Bowl.
Right.
So stop speculating.
Yeah, you can't do it. So don't even. Now, speaking of Lisa and Harry Hamlin, did we not have like a little bit of feedback or something about these two? Let's hear what you got.
All right. Well, we started the evening with only a single piece of feedback, but while we were talking, a second email has arrived.
Excellent.
A mysterious communication, if you will. I'll read the first one, sent by the legendary Maggie Mack, who also finds herself firmly ensconced in the zone of wintry death.
Yes.
But she writes, hi, friends. Lisa Rinna and Harry Hamlin were on season 1 of Veronica Mars. They played Logan's parents. I don't know why she always calls him Harry Hamlin. It's kind of funny. Yes, we do know who you are married to. If you haven't watched Veronica Mars, season 1 is pretty damn close to perfect. It is one of my favorite TV shows. I am interested to see what happens on Traitors. I'll email again after this week's episode. Maggie.
All right.
And true to her word.
All right. I'm guessing.
At 9:19 tonight, as she returned from no doubt stocking toilet paper and
one must be prepared for blizzards.
Yes, she sent us this short note. Hi friends. I thought we were going to get Colton out. I was wrong. I'm not sure if Lisa is long for this game. Colton told too many people about her. The Traitors have done a good job of staying hidden until now. I hope Colton gets murdered in plain sight. That would be epic, Maggie.
It really would. You are correct. I believe that if that ends up being the person, that decides to touch the cursed brooch, ooh, that'd be good. Listen, sometimes you don't have to script it.
But could you see just on accident, like, yeah, I'm going, oh, that's so nice, and touching it, and just he's out, right?
Yeah, that's. I'm
and he didn't,
assuming
he's not her target, but
some people have to go.
I mean,
it's not a hand talker's twist.
No.
Mm-mm.
No, and it really does kind of favor the bold person to wear it, and again encourages the people who are a little more timid who won't touch it. Like, that again, if we're building the rules of the Traitors, the way the game's currently constructed, like, be mid,
Yep, exactly. Don't get over onto the edge. Both edges are bad.
And I think the Murders in Sight are really a reflection on weakening the Traitors a little bit, because it's harder to do, and it makes them a little more suspect. So I think that was part of that equalizing thing you were talking about in prior weeks, Brian.
Yeah, I think the game is really balanced, and the biggest surprise for me this season is the Traitors are not the train wreck I thought they would be, but they might be in the next week or two. The biggest surprise is how well Rob has played this game. Like, I did not expect.
Rob is either playing an incredible game or he's getting an A+ at it.
He's playing incredible, and it's going to be really interesting to see where the branch of their relationship in the turret goes from here. Because I think he can rally a lot of people to his side if this becomes a civil war between Rob and Lisa, or Rob and Candace. Rob and Candace are two of the most liked people in that house, if you listen to the talking heads. But I mean, really, really interesting stuff. And again, talking about the evolution of strategy, I like that Rob said this week, he's like, I feel like almost like I'm a faithful. He's playing a traitor like he's a faithful. Which is
I was wondering if maybe, like, when he's competing, because he talks about he's just competitive by nature and he loves that kind of thing. I think he's one of those people that when he goes out there and he's competing, he bonds with his teammates, and then he kind of forgets he's not on their team.
Right.
And there's a little heart in there that I think it made his heart grow a little bit at the round table this week.
Well, and then if you're one of the 5 people who are more or less convinced that Lisa's a traitor, Rob's vote throws the stink all off of him.
Yeah,
that's what I think,
right? Because you're gonna sit at night and go through and go, okay, who voted for Colton, or and then now all of a sudden you figure the Traitors have to be in that group, right? If Lisa's one of them.
Yeah. I think there's a few people that have really they had a good week. They made some moves. I think those moves they can be risky, but I think they could be fruitful. I mean, the 3 especially being Colton, Lisa, and Rob. Yeah. But we're sad to see Ron go. He was a sweet man.
Let me just throw on before we move in, Brian, I have a draft rule proposal for future consideration.
Okay.
And that is simply that if you are a traitor, it's a smart move to occasionally vote against another traitor.
Yeah.
In other words, they shouldn't be mad because it worked out.
Well, if you want to look at this, if I'm going to do a Christian Hobicki analysis here, it couldn't work out much better for you that now the table is split 3 ways.
And you're not one of them.
Basically, and 1/3 of the table has just exposed themselves as voting for a faithful. Right. And you did not. So as of now, you've not yet been proven wrong. So, some of the Traitors, I think both of them voted for Ron because that was their plan.
No. Lisa voted for Colton.
Oh, that's right. Lisa got mad and voted for Colton, but Candace voted for Ron.
Right.
So in that group that voted for Ron, if assumptions are made, there must be a traitor in that group. because Ron's a faithful and this has gotten down. Rob's exempted himself from that group, and he can say, I haven't made as many wrong votes as a lot of people at this table. Like, if you want to start looking at me, I voted, I didn't want to vote out a faithful, and you all did. And I sat here and told you he was faithful.
Right.
Yep.
And, so I think the dynamics of the game being three different factions, and will we explore that next week, could be fascinating because it broke down almost, perfect.
We've got, go ahead and you can read the response. I'm kind of stuck on a corner here, David, if you want to.
Radic99 shares, any semblance of an alliance between Colton and Lisa would certainly blow up in Lisa's face if they both reach the pouch throwing episode.
Unless the other person at the fire hated Colton. And Colton may have some haters.
Oh, I mean, it would be a pretty
if the other
ending.
person on the other side had, a crush on Colton too.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Either way. Well, Maggie, thank you very much for your feedback. We appreciate it. We'll have to see next week.
And Radic, we like the notes.
Which one's going to end up gone? But if you have any feedback that you would like to contribute, you can email us at tallythefeedback@yahoo.com. You can also find us on Facebook and Instagram. We would love if you would like and subscribe. And you can listen to us anywhere you listen to your favorite podcasts. At the Jay and Jack Whole Enchilada feed. And, if you would like to be a patron, you can do so at patreon.com/JayandJack. A special shout out to those Patreons that contribute at a certain level. And that is Eckhart Rickner, Joanne with the Plan, and Ed the Poopy Head Mailman. That is pretty much everything that we have for the week. Is there anything else you guys want to add before we close it out?
I just wanted to add, in memoriam of Ron. Ron has given some interviews and basically said, this pointed out some mental health stuff to him, that this was pretty rough for him. Yes. And there were people that reached out to him that asked if perhaps he was on the spectrum. Yeah. And which led him to what I'm gleaning. If this is wrong, I've misread something, but from what I can glean, that he may have gotten tested and actually determined that he is on the spectrum.
Yep.
Which
kind of validates what I was saying earlier, that he was very quiet for someone who was a stand-up comedian. So, introverted, but only in certain situations makes perfect sense.
Right. And I think to not paint this show as 100% with the Angels, I do think there was some very ugly, ostracizing and scapegoating of Ron.
Yes,
and I think agree. The way Ron's defense to Colton, I thought was perfect. For every guy like me that's not Brad Pitt, whose actions are judged differently against the beautiful people. When he said to Colton, "Oh, so you do the same thing, but because we don't like your guy, it's okay for you to do it. But because you like the person, I brought evidence again. I'm the bad guy who has to go." Right. And that is the core issue of how the social stratification of this group has broken down. And you get stuff do you really say, "Hey man, I don't know if you're a traitor or not, but you got to go just so we know, like you're the expendable one, you're the other." I thought the way Ron was treated this season really sucked. And I thought some of the nuggets we got this week, his discussion with Rob, and let's just talk about his statements to the people at the round table. I don't think
wasn't that beautiful? I mean, it was.
I don't remember seeing anybody go round to all the people and have stuff to say. Of course, he either didn't say something to Dorinda or they edited it. Maybe Ron said, "And Dorinda, you're still never going to fucking meet my family." One of those two extremes. But I thought his statement at the end to like sort of encourage all the people left and what he liked about him, and I thought that was really touching. And then to see the moment he had with Rob, it really kind of left us in a way before the episode. I mean, I would have been sad he left because I've had this feeling for a while, but I don't know that in a general sense there'd been the sadness about him leaving that this episode engendered. And like we said at the beginning of this episode, if we told you Ron was going home, you'd have went, no shit, Sherlock, and wondered if there was drama. But even with him going home, like he got like the hero's ending. I thought if you have to go, it was about as good an exit as you could have.
Well, and I told you earlier, I got spoiled on the outcome before I watched the episode because I didn't watch it last night. I watched it tonight. And it's a classic example of it's the journey, not the destination, because it was like I went into it going, this is lame. I knew who's going to go home. And it was the most compelling hour of TV we had in season 4 and maybe for a while.
Yeah. I think since this is the most compelling episode since Carolyn and Danielle went head to head, I think.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah.
I did have just one more thing, Jamie, I wanted to say before we wrapped up. I was really down on Johnny's game early on. I think I was like, he was my pick, my most annoying pick to go home. And he's sort of come around, and I like the strategy he's playing with. I like his thinking. So I'm gonna walk that back and say perhaps I was too hasty.
Okay, good. I think we're getting to finally have some moments where we go, oh, okay, he's playing. He might not stand a chance against a lake and a dock, but he is trying to play this game.
So is the guy with the curly hair whose name I can never remember.
Mark.
Yeah, he got added into the episode for the first time in a while.
Yeah, and he's a big fan of the show, so it's nice to see him kind of step in and start making some moves. Sometimes you've got to get those big characters out of the way before you can do anything. So
I think you're right. I mean, Michael sucked a lot of air out of the room, but so does a player like Rachel Riley or Boston Rob, because there's such a big personality. Yeah. And Rachel is a better example because she's loud, she controls the situation, she's always controlling it. But wasn't it Boston Rob who said, I'm not going to let them talk about this? Because anytime it brought up, he would just aggressively change the subject to something else.
Yeah, that's sort of his MO.
Yeah. So those big personalities.
Just don't let the other people play the game, and you're sure to win.
But it's interesting how the players, some of these players, you're right, are coming out now that. And maybe it's just the edit. I mean, again, maybe there was always stuff there they were doing that was interesting, and we just weren't being seen because the compelling TV was the big personalities. I don't know.
Yes, because that squeaky wheel. You know what they say.
Gets the airtime.
The squeaky wheel gets the airtime. No wiser words have ever been spoken on this show.
All right, well, that's all I got tonight.
All right, gang. Well, it was lovely to spend time with you tonight. But before we go, I would, if you would let me, like to take just a moment to address our friends in Minneapolis. I wanted to tell you that we see you and we stand with you, and the world is watching. Keep doing good work. Do unto others, and good night.
Be a good person. Period.